from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, oh boys, it's summertime. And this is a special summer episode coming out of the vault just for you. It's a part of Sleep With Me's commitment to you, whether you're a new listener or you've been listening to the show since the beginning. Returning to our roots of trying to put out 3 episodes, and then if you listen to Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me, you could listen to 5 episodes a week, because we know Sleep With Me exists as a safe place within the world, you know, to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep. And this is a summer extra. It's a little bit older episode, to be a little bit looser, but I hope you enjoy it. We couldn't do it without all of you. And if you decide, you know, Sleep With Me makes your life better, has changed your life for the better, we do need your support. Those of you that your lives have been changed for the better by Sleep With Me in order to keep making the show. So if you want to opt in, not only will it have a positive impact on you, not only will you get the sweet bonus content, not only will you feel better about it, you'll feel great about it. You're helping out other people that had the same sleep issues as you, and people that are going in the middle of going through stuff temporarily that are listening, more casual listeners. So if you want to do that, you say, yeah, how do I give back to this thing that's changed my life? You could do that at Sleep With Me Pod. You could just, I'll talk about it here. Thanks. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots. I'm talking about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. And if you don't have a Helix mattress in your life, you got to think about taking the quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. I've been sleeping in my Helix probably longer than you've been listening to this podcast. And I love my bed so much. I have a move coming up, and I'm trying to decide because I have to move in a couple different stages just due to things outside of my control. And I know I'm going to be in my apartment, but most of my stuff's going to be gone. And I'm like, should I keep my Helix there and then buy another Helix for my next destination? Or should I pay to have that Helix moved, but I don't want to be without it because I don't think I'll be able to sleep without it because I love sleeping in my Helix. And I know it'll be super easy if I take the Helix quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. Maybe my needs and feel preferences have changed. So I could see what my options are. I could choose between a Luxe mattress, a Helix Elite, or just, you know, whatever comes up in my search. I know I'll have choices. So the question is, do you have that kind of relationship with your mattress that you don't want to be without it? Because if you don't, what are you waiting for, right? You could have a Helix shipped straight to your door free of charge and get testing it out. But the first thing you need to do is just take that quiz because Helix has you and your needs in mind, your feel preferences. How do you like to sleep? How does your partner like to sleep? So it is time for you to get a new bed. Because trust me, this summer, I do not want to be without my Helix mattress. And Helix has got an amazing deal lined up for you. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide during their summer sale from June 2nd through June 12th. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and I'm trying to reach a specific group of listeners. Pay attention. See if this is you. Have you been listening to the show 6 months or longer? Because I'm talking directly to you. Yes? Okay, I'm talking to you then. So you didn't just discover the show recently, or you're not going through a tough time, and you just listen to the podcast while you go through that tough time. 6 months, we've had some good times together. So, you know, senseless lulling times, but still. So I'm wondering if you've been listening for the show for 6 months, would you consider supporting the show back? And whether you listen for 6 more months or 2 more months or 3 more years, you could stop supporting the show as soon as it doesn't work for you, the podcast or supporting the show financially doesn't work for you. But if the past 6 months have been valuable to you, we do need your support in order to keep it being valuable to you in the future. If you can support the show, you're willing to support the show, and what we've done over the past 6+ months for you is valuable to you. It has tangible value. It has made your life more than a little bit better. Don't let anything else get in the way, whether it's doing it tomorrow or it doesn't matter. Your $7 a month will change the future of the podcast. It's that simple. And then I'll definitely be here for the next 6 months. And the listening experience on Sleep With Me Plus is absolutely amazing. So if you've been here for 6 months or more, and this podcast has been a part of your sleep routine, it's brought you peace in the deep, dark night or distraction or a friendly voice, whatever it is, let's keep this going for the next 6 months, right? And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now. Sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get Sleep With Me merch, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. And use Sleep With Me at checkout to get $5 off your order. The only way you can get the Sleep With Me merch editions is sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, events. And I'm going to talk about a little minor event that kept me up last night. And also the podcast kept me up, believe it or not. But whatever's keeping you awake, being out of town, travel, someone else is out of town, it might be something I don't even know about. But whatever it is, I hope I can help you. And the way I do it is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I try to make you feel welcome. I'm doing the universal motion, as I always do, to smooth out this safe place and to pat it. To warm it, to send my voice, I use these lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, lots of pointless meanders and twists and bends, extra words, extra pauses. I don't know if this second word is a word, but bonus buffoonery. Yeah, I think that's a word. But I mean, when you act like when you... I guess it would depend on, that's a metaphorical buffoon. So buffoonery, I get mixed up. That's another thing. So if you're new here, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let me tell you about the structure of the show real quick. If this is your first few times listening, thanks for making it this far. Because this is a sleep podcast, we do all our business up front. So it's about 6 minutes of business, and ideally that's how we keep the show free at 3 times a week with free archives. It's always been my goal for 4 years plus of working on this show, and we got to do that up front. So thank you for listening to that. Then we have an intro, which I just started. Usually the intros are around 12 minutes of me So far, 600 plus episodes trying to explain the podcast and how it works or talk about the different thing, like say, well, I can relate to your sleeplessness because of this or whatever. So that's the intro. Some people fall asleep during it. Some people use it to get ready for bed. Some people listen when they're in traffic. Some people listen to it in the middle of the night. Some people run the podcast all night long. So if you're new, try it out. It takes 2 or 3 times to see if the podcast works. But here's the other thing. Just because it's a podcast. Oh, so there's the intro. And then we're going to talk about Star Trek, The Next Generation. And then there'll be some thank yous. So the show will be about an hour. And if you just want to get to the Star Trek stuff, the estimated timestamp should be in the show notes. So you can skip ahead. But also you don't need to listen. I'm here to keep you company. I'm your boar friend. I'm your boar bestie. I'm your boar bud. Whatever, boar bro. Boar sib, boar sis, whatever you prefer to call me, boar bay, your boar boo. I guess I'm not pumpkin pie spice, but and that doesn't fit with boar, but, it could be your boar lantern, depending on what time of year it is. Your cornucopia, boropopia, something like that. I'm here to help you fall asleep, but you don't need to listen to me. I'm here to keep you company, just like a friend in the deep dark night would sit there at your bedside and try to be there for you, to be your companion, which is what I have on my mind tonight. But whatever. So I'm there to keep you company while you fall asleep. So you shouldn't feel any pressure to listen, but you also don't need to feel any pressure to fall asleep. I'm going to be here for an hour. Talking. So just you kind of drift off. You don't really need to listen. This podcast doesn't so much put you to sleep, but to be there, to escort you, to be at your side while you drift off and fall asleep. But oh boy, did I not sleep good last night? I have a dog that many of you know. Her name's Koa. And by the time this comes out, it'll be much after this, but she had to go see the VET for the whole day yesterday to get something taken care of, and it was like an intense experience, and it was not on it was on one of her paws, so it wasn't it wasn't super stressful for me, other than to have to leave her there and then go back and have her see her, be like, what is this? What she doesn't know. I say, hey, well, this is just to take care of you. Got to get that thing taken off and find out what it is and make sure, that way you can keep walking for years to come and dancing with your Papa Boo. But so we got home last night, and obviously, a dog doesn't have the faculties to kind of process whatever that was, and also all the narcotics that we're going through. So Cohen needed some hardcore snuggling, and it was a paw, so she really wasn't mobile. So what I had to do in the living room was create a little nest for her. And I mean, mostly she was like, you just left me at this vet. And then, so she needed a companion in the deep dark night last night, and she needed a presence to be there. And so not only did I put a speaker in her nest playing the podcast on, the smart speaker, say, hey, play Sleep With Me podcast on TuneIn, and it just plays continuously. So if you listen all night, that's a great thing. Or you could say, hey, also set a sleep timer for 45 minutes. But in this situation, there was going to be no sleep timer. So there I was, trying to lie there and read and talk to her and keep her company and give her lots of pets. And then I also was listening to myself talking just as a backup. And, then obviously if you care, your pet is your companion, your best friend. So it was hard for me to sleep because I was constantly listening, just like anything. So, okay, so everything normal? Is everything going well? And of course, Cole wanted kind of every couple of hours, she wanted some reassurance. Even the podcast wasn't enough. So I say, hey, okay, let me put this blanket and tuck you in some more. Don't worry, I'm still here, sleeping on the floor here, sleeping in quotes, mostly reading, but Let me tuck you in a little more. And the thing is, we all need that sometimes. This happened to be related to thing. And then, tonight, like, hopefully, she's on the upswing. She'll sleep good tonight, and I'll sleep good tonight. But it's like, it can be, it's intense, especially for a D-O-double-G, to say, what in the heck just happened? But as humans, that happens all the time. You say, what in the heck happened with that spreadsheet? Or what in the happened that I can't, this one little thing happened, I can't forget about it. Or, something physical or something, whatever it is, like, I don't know. That's why I make the show. Because sometimes, like, for me, when I was a little kid, it was school and math in particular. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I would listen to radio to Dr. Demento, and that would be my companion on Sunday nights to say, hey, I'm here to make you laugh. I'm here so you don't need to think about school for a few hours. And I think for a dog, petting them and saying, hey, here's the reassurance right here, physical, audio reassurance, puppy poo, that I'm here to keep you company tonight. I'll be here for you. I know your mind's blown because, you're just a dog. But that's really what the podcast is about, too, in a different way, because I've been there. I was there last night, but barely slept a wink. And it reminded me of other events in my life that were much more, no offense to go. It was just stressful, but it wasn't like she's going to be fine. It's just her paw. Yeah, but, we've all been there in times that are very trying. And whether it's like a small thing, and then your party is probably like, well, why is this such a trying time? You just got to try harder. You see, no, sometimes you want somebody to be there for you. And this podcast is a little bit different. So it's a little bit of a strange boundary to say, hey, this podcast is going to be there for you. But it kind of is, and I hope it can help you. I hope it can be there to take your mind off whatever's keeping you awake. And it's mostly from goofing around or meanderingly talking about the episode. And this is a particularly funny episode because Data plays multiple roles, and it takes place in the ancient West. And Worf and Troi play a big part in it, and there's like a bunch of different moments of comic relief. So it may almost all be comic relief. So I don't know. If you're new, I hope this show can help you. I hope you can give it a few tries and it can help you fall asleep. If you've been coming back for a long time, I'm sure you can hear my voice. I'm a little tired, but I appreciate you coming back every time for this show. And it helps me to help you, just like, and it makes sense. Like, just like it made sense last night to say, hey, don't worry. I'm here for you. It's a little bit different with the podcast, but I'm here to help in the best way I can. And so I hope it helps. And as I said, if you're new, give it a few tries, see if it can help you. But I appreciate you coming by. And I really hope and I really yearn that I can help you fall asleep. Thanks. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. It's the middle of the show here. And just wondering, just in case you're a listener that normally falls asleep fast or you fall asleep right after the intro, you're one of the reasons this show exists, to help you and to help other people who need help falling asleep, getting to sleep, staying asleep. But that doesn't come by magic, right? It's care, it's effort, it's all the people that work on the show. Not just me. I don't do this by myself. There's a team of people behind the show. And that team of people and the sponsors, and particularly the listeners who support the show, are how we're able to be here. But if you fall asleep fast, you may be missing these messages with my increased urgency to support the show. Or you may have never heard about the sponsors, or you just kind of skip over that part. But if you want the show to be around, I guess that doesn't matter either. Like, if the show makes your life better because you fall asleep fast to it, if your days are better because of this podcast, and that's valuable to you, and you plan on listening to the show into the future, please support the show right now. If you fall asleep fast, I'm trying to get your attention, specifically your attention. If you're one of those people that says, yes, this is valuable to me. Of course, I never thought about that. I fall asleep so fast. Yeah, I never thought about what it takes to make the show because I don't listen to it. If you don't listen to Sleep With Me, ironically, if it makes your life better on a regular basis and you don't listen to Sleep With Me, but you listen to it, really, really, really need your support. If the show is valuable to you, support it right now at sleepingbeautypodcast.com/plus. All right, here we are, Saturday 46, 271.5, season 6, episode 8, 48 hours of delay with some rendezvous. And after the external shot, we get a shot of Picard on the pipe from back from the days of the Inner Light. He's playing the tin flute, I put Picard on Piccolo here. Because that has more ring. And we get a little day in the life of Jean-Luc here at first, because he's practicing, he's on leave time. They're on delay a little bit. So he's practicing his pipe, a little Mozart. Let's see, from Inner Light. Then he keeps getting interrupted. So he says, computer pause playback. Also notice he has 4 sunflowers in his room. So first he just pauses playback. It looks like for practice and redoes it. Then the doorbell rings. He pauses playback again. And Geordi and Data come in. They've got an idea about using Data's brain to upgrade the computer interface or something. Oh, because Data's going to be an emergency backup for the entire ship. And Picard says, yeah, that sounds interesting. And he kind of brushes him off. He's like, listen, I'm in the middle of flute practice here. He goes, I get the idea, Mr. LaForge. Please proceed. And this is really like a fan episode, the beginning of it. Then he kicks them out. He gets back to work. The doorbell rings again. And it's Beverly, and she's got to play something for breakfast. And I would have named it Breakfast with Beverly. And this was just so charming for me. At first she says, I want to talk to you about something for breakfast. He goes, breakfast? She goes, my play. And he goes, oh yeah, that was intriguing drama. Because really, I can't take the lead role, Beverly. I'm not much of an actor. And she goes, no problem, actually. I got everything cast. I don't need you as a lead. I'd like you to play horse number 4. You only have 2 lines. Oh, the butler, but and he goes, okay, great. Anyway, but moving on. He goes, she goes, you're going to be great. This is going to be great. Breakfast with Beverly. Today, 1:30's rehearsal. And he says, finally, I get to play my pipe. He goes, computer, let's run this one again. One thing, I got to pause my playback. Because they said 1:30, isn't it? Wouldn't it be 13:30? Beverly, her time's off, I think. But then the doorbell rings again. Picard goes, yes. And Worf kind of comes in, and he wants to do all these security drills. His head's hanging a little bit. He says, we got these 2 days off. Let's do a lot of stuff. Let's do some drills, the delay of the Beaco. And he goes, I got a schedule planned. And Picard goes, that's great, but we're about to change out get new staff in. Why would we drill everybody? And he goes, okay. Then Picard goes, I'll do phaser maintenance. And Worf says that, and he goes, how come you're trying to work so hard, Worf? Don't you have a son on board? He goes, well, I like to use the extra. He goes, enjoy yourself. It's free time. He goes, use it like I'm trying to use it. And I don't know if this is the 4th or 5th try, but Picard goes to the computer. Let's take it from the top. Let's take it from the bridge. And this is really like the age we almost live in. The computer's recording and playing back, almost like recording a podcast. And Picard gets into his motion. We see a little bit of his room. Then we see Alexander. He's on his back and on the floor playing some sort of a video game. Worf comes in all grouchy. He kind of, stamps around? Oh, he stomps down into his seat, flops right down into a chair. And he goes, Captain, really great body language, by the way, the acting. He goes, geez, Captain saw fit to relieve me of my duties. Alexander goes, really? That means we can do it? And he goes, saddle up, father. And he puts a black cowboy hat on Worf's head. And then I put cheeky music, It's funny, and or cheesy, maybe I meant, but then there's an opening, and then I don't know why I think of the song West End Boys or whatever. The song Western Town. Oh, Western Town with Dead End Walls. That's East Town Boys and West End Girls. I don't think that's what the song's about, but we see sun. We hear great sound effects, birds. There's dogs. There's the sun shining. It's a Western town, like you'd see on a backlot tour. There's an old man with a corncob pipe on a squeaky rocking chair. Yeah, there's that Western sun burning in the sky. We see the title, Fistful of Datas, which so you know what to expect. And great sound effects, corncob pipe, then the sound of spurs, 2 sets of spurs. And we see cowboy boots with spurs, 1 set, and it's a slow reveal. Then we see the second set of spurs, more kid size. Alexander's thumbs are in his belt. They're both standing, a little lens flare even, I think. They're in Deadwood, 19th century Earth. The ancient West. That's so funny. And Worf says, what's our function here? Alexander says, you're the sheriff. I'm the deputy. So it's time to do, haven't you seen any of the Westworld or Fistful of Dollars? They go, yeah, let's get to busting some bad guys or whatever. What else do I have? 2 cents. There's country music, which is cool. Then we're back to the ship, and Geordi's plugging something into Data's head, and they're talking about Geordi's beard. Which he goes, geez, I noticed you haven't shaved, Geordi. You're trying to grow another beard? You remember what happened last time, right? And Geordi goes, no. He goes, that's when you got all sweaty and weird, man. He goes, it's weird. You look weird in the intermediate stage. And I like how Data has to open his own head. Oh, so they're talking about how the beard was looking weird. Sorry, I had to pause it. And then Data has to open his head. And I don't know if that's a security measure or what. But Geordi's like, yeah, I got to scan some of the inside of your head. And Data goes, okay, let me open it up. Open his head for soft. Oh, is it a soft moment or soft mount? I don't know what that means. I think it was a soft moment because Geordi goes, yeah, Data, I can't get used to seeing your brain with LEDs. Data goes, oh, well, it's just because we're friends, this is just what I am. I am's what I am. And then Data connects to the computer. He has to turn his head to the side to go into the computer. Then we see Worf and Alexander, one of the ladies of the night or whatever, says, howdy, Sheriff Worf. And she kind of does it. Also, I said, Mr. Barkley is the one who helped Alexander. I don't know who Mr. Barkley is. Maybe a teacher. Because Worf says, what's up with the ladies in the night? He goes, I must have a little talk with Mr. Barkley. Then we see a pub or a saloon. There's a piano player. Eli Hollander, wanted poster. It's like a bunch of stereotypes in a saloon. And Eli Hollander's complaining. He's the lead tough or whatever. And they're drinking. And then Worf and Eli roll in, or Worf and Alexander. Alexander points. There he is, Eli Hollander. Arrest him, a bad guy from Bozeman. And I liked how the swinging doors came. And Worf goes, I'm here to apprehend him. And his son goes, if you can. And then Worf, squares his belt. And this is kind of a common theme with the holodeck. He goes, hey, Mr. Hollander, you're in trouble. You're busted. And the guy goes, is that so? And Worf goes, yep. And then Worf takes him, he prepares him to go in. On his keister, I put knocked the dude on his keister. And then Alexander goes, no. Freeze program computer. It's not supposed to be that easy. Come on, father. It was very cute how he said that. Alexander's a very cute kid. He goes, it has to be harder. So then he takes his dad by the hand, leads, tells the computer, make it harder, and takes his hand. And then we have a Groundhog Day moment at the bar. Same scene happens, but this time the bar clears out of people. Worf grabs his belt again. He says, "You are under arrest." And Eli says, "Well, looks like Sheriff Worf said you're to arrest me." And then what does he stink face him? What does that say? Stand. Oh, he stands up. He faces off with Worf. Then he walks to the bar, takes a drink. Really good casting of this Eli Hollander. Then his sidekick, it gets ready. 23, he says, "Hey, you messed with 23 people." A guy tries to sneak up on Worf and use a chair against him. But then he gets distracted and excited. Worf gets excited. Let me see. Let me let the screen catch up how this plays out here. Okay, Eli takes his drink. He says, arresting me is a bad idea. His sidekicks get ready. Eli's distracting Worf, and the guy comes with the chair while he's distracted by Eli and his sidekick. And let's see what happens next. He goes, "Well, I'm taking you in." Eli says, "Well, I guess I'm guilty then." Sheriff, he does, I guess he does have a little bit, he goes, "But you're not going to," he calls Worf UGLI. And Worf goes, "Well, you're arrested because you ain't got no alibi." And then he goes, "Oh, were you born that way or did your mama marry an armadillo?" And Worf looks cross. Then Alexander warns him. A chair hits Worf. Worf, it's no, not that tough for Worf. He does a bunch of moves, action moves. He crouches and spins. He goes, "I'm beginning to see the appeal of this program." But then Eli has the drop on him. And then I put WTF, because Eli goes, "I'm taking everything. I'm getting out of here." Worf goes, "No, you're not." And he goes, "Well, who's going to stop me?" And Troi comes in. She takes his hat off his head. She goes, "You're busted, Eli." And he does this fancy thing with his little side, his water squirter. And she goes, "You're going to regret this." Then we see the exterior of the ship. Then we see Data with Geordi in the background. They're doing some kind of initiation scan. And inertial dampening system. Then there's an energy fluctuation in the neural net, which you never want any energy fluctuation in your neural net, clearly. Data's hands are folded. He kind of twitches even. And Geordi goes, "Geez, man, you are right." And his hands are folded. He looks at Data. You get a power surge. And Data goes, "Okay, let's detach you. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea, having you as the only downloading the entire ship's computer on your brain or whatever. Let's take a break. We'll check everything and try again later." And Data goes, "Okay," but then Data picks up like some kind of scanner and does like a water gun move with it where he spins it around and catches it and does like a little southern move, and that's an ad break. And there's also more gunslinger music. And really witty title, too, I think, the way the episode plays out. But then we see the Western town again. We see the dude Eli's playing, he's shuffling to play solitaire, I think. And Worf's pondering, like, swift justice. And his son goes, "No, there's not swift justice. It's slow justice." And Eli goes, "Wait till my own man finds out." And Worf goes, "What old man?" He goes, "My pa. He's going to get me out of here." Eli's laughing. He goes, "Yes, when your pa comes." Eli or Alexander goes, "Your pa is no match for my dad." He goes, Worf goes, "Yeah, when your pa comes, we'll be ready for him." And the dude sneeze laughs. And then we see Troi, Counselor Troi. She loves role play. I mean, she's kicked back, really confident, smoking a cigarillo. She lights it off of her boot heel or the wall or something. And she's in full character. Worf tries to break character, though. He goes, "Counselor, you need to support me." And she goes, "My name's Durango, bro." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, Counselor Durango." He goes, "Maybe you'd consider becoming a temporary deputy." And she says, for a price. And she blows smoke in his face. He blinks, 500 bones. And Worf goes, okay, Alexander, we require large amounts of currency. Alexander goes, okay, I'll go to the bank. Just funny, Worf breaks character a lot. And he goes, Deanna, how did you know so much about this period? And she goes, I love stories of the ancient West. My father used to tell them to me as a little girl. And she goes, I always wanted to play the part of a mysterious stranger. And she kicks her feet up on the desk and leans back. Very good. Ancient West, I love that. And then Miss Annie, Worf's girlfriend, comes by, and she's like, oh, you're so brave. Worf doesn't even know her name. She goes, it's Annie, you big galoot. And she goes, tonight I'm making you a beefsteak. And Troi eggs him on. I think I heard pure beeswax candles. I don't know if that's aphrodisiac or not, but she seems to intone it as. Worf says, I got work to do. I can't come over. She's not happy about it. The dude twangs in, you two have a good time or something. There's a lot of comedy here. And she goes, what are you, seeing somebody else? She goes, I know about Mrs. Langford's House of Pleasure. And she storms out. Then we see the ship. Then we see Picard and Earl Grey. And Picard's trying to kick back and rocking in his chair. And then his music kind of goes wrong. He goes, is this Mozart Trio? Oh, no, it's not. Mozart Trio Program 1 is what he wanted to listen to. Tempo Allegro. Domo Irrigato, Tempo Allegro. Then we're at play practice. It's not going well. And Riker is... he's hitting some sweet duds. I can't read my handwriting. It looks like Summereth duds. Let's see. I'm ahead of the playback, so we'll see. I can't remember. I think he looks like he's in Shakespearean duds, maybe. It's not going well, though. The director is not happy. And he's got like a blue pirate shirt on almost. And Dr. Crusher's is like, let's take it from the top again. Riker's ready to ham it up. And he doesn't even know the lines by heart, but he like starts, so he's got to read it off an iPad. And then he starts reading, this is your taxonomic nomenclature, endothermic quadruped, carnivorous by nature. And she goes, what are you reading? He goes, the lines. She goes, that's not the dialogue from my play. Sounds like Data's poetry. Your visual olfactory senses, and the whole play has been deleted and replaced with Data's poetry. And it's like, what in the heck? This is my life's work. Breakfast with Beverly. It was going to be the next dinner with Andre. Then Geordi's checking a bunch of like RAM chips or something. Oh, all the pads from the play. He goes, geez, this is a network problem. This was before the internet is really advanced because it's on the network. It's the cloud files are screwed up, not the iPads. And so they decide to run a level 2 diagnostic. Beverly goes, Geordi, with that beard, maybe you could be in Breakfast with Beverly, or just find the play. She goes, please, I don't have a backup. Then we see Alexander carrying a bag of money, and he runs into some trouble with Eli's sidekicks, and they say, hey, let's go on a gold mine tour. And then they say, we got him, Hefe, for the gold mine tour. And Data steps out of the shadows, dressed as in like a Western villain attire. And he says, where's my boy? It really, really, really enjoyable if you're a Data fan. First you see his shadow, and he kind of eases into the frame. I guess he says, where's my boy, before you know it's Data. And Alexander says, this isn't the way wasn't the way it is on the brochure, freeze program. Then Data comes into screen, and he says, freeze program again. And we see, like, Alexander's like, what the heck? And Data's really hamming it up, but it's not really Data. It's spoiler. It's a computer. I guess it's an aspect of Data. Then we go to ad break. They say free Senior Frank, and then Data says alive. Then we got a post ad. This is a scene you got to watch. 23:15. Data's with his cat. A feline supplement 127. Oh, 23:30. The cat looks at him. He goes, good news. Let me see. Let me read the whole dialogue so you can really enjoy it. His cat's name's Spot, I believe. Set you feline supplement 127. He's patting Spot. Spot's kind of looking at something. Looks at Data. He goes, oh, this is a new mixture I formulated of foods specifically designed for your highly selective tastes. And Spot's not interested even in being on camera, so Spot runs off. Data looks confused. I find it extremely difficult to predict what you will find acceptable. Perhaps hunger will compel you to try it again. And then he goes to work on his computer, and then Spot hops up on the desk and like walks on the keyboard. He goes, Spot, you're disrupting my ability to work. Maybe there was a bowl of food in front of the computer. Cat's meowing. And then he says, Vamoose, you little varmint. And it's just like, wait, what? And the camera zooms in. Then we see the piano player. Then we see Worf walking into the saloon. And he's in a bad mood. She's mad at Worf. She huffs. And it's filtered sunlight coming through the windows. Really nice look. Let's see. Worf goes up to the bar. She says, what'll it be? And Worf goes, I'm looking for my deputy, my kid. Have you seen him? She goes, no. And she goes, what do you want? And then Worf goes, you got prune juice is what, he goes, Klingon Firewine. She goes, what do you think this is, Kansas City? We don't have any European drinks here. And she goes, how about a sherry? Isn't that what they serve down at the Pleasure House? Why don't you have that? And Worf goes, is that anything like prune juice? Because, yeah, I'll try that. Then we hear footsteps, and through the door walks Data with Eli's sidekicks. There's good music and sound design. And great outfit on Data and great body language. He goes, howdy, Sheriff. Worf goes, Commander, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm Frank Hollander. And Worf looks him over. He goes, what are you looking at? And he goes, nothing, Mr. Hollander. Just here to drink my sherry. And he goes, what do you want? And then Data, Frank Hollander says, my boy. And Worf sips, really enjoys the sherry. He goes, well, that's impossible. He's in trouble. And he's like savoring his sherry. And then Hollander says, we'll have to work something out. If there's anything you want for my boy. And Worf goes, nah, nothing. He goes, what about your son, your little deputy? Is that so? He says, is that so? And Data leans against the bar, back against the bar, does a shot of whiskey, I think. And he kind of looks over at Worf like, Worf loses. He says, where's Alexander? And he goes, I don't negotiate with criminals. He goes, your son's going to trial. And then Data kind of grabs Worf by the shoulder. He goes, ouch, that hurt, Commander. He goes, what are you doing? And Data goes, I'm not in any mood for any games. And then Worf realizes Data's not there. He goes, Commander, computer freeze program. And Data gets up in his face, and Worf kind of backs out. He's like, oh boy. He's like, I get you. And then he goes to leave. The guy goes, I wouldn't leave, Sheriff. Let's see what else. Savors the sherry. Oh, then Worf dives out the front. There's a lot of side eyes when they're at the bar. Then Troi's practicing her draw she's got great leather pants on. They're almost red leather pants. Worf ducks in. He goes, the holodeck's malfunctioned. This is for real. Alexander's in trouble. And she goes, yeah, you got nicked by a bug or something. And then she says computer freeze program. It doesn't work. Why would anyone, she goes, Captain Picard, Troi to Captain Picard. Nope. Troi to security. Nope. And Data he goes, there's a Hollander's father's in this, and it's like, looks like Data, but it's not Data. I can't explain it. And Alexander's with them. And then Eli goes, isn't that a shame? Poor Sheriff. And then it's a Data playing another role. He goes, was my pie a little too tough? He laughs. He's chewing out a piece of straw and eating some pie, my little, then he laughs. A great laugh. Then they come back. He goes, Data. He goes, what's going on? Where is it? He goes, where's Alexander? He grabs Data through the bars. Data says, tamper, Sheriff. So then Troi and Worf are like, Troy's like, we got to figure this out. We got to get on the case. And Data even gives a weird grin over at, she goes, we got to remember, even though the safeguards are off, it's still a program. It can be beat. Just got to get to the end of the story. But Data's like staring and grinning. And they put exterior CL. What does that mean? Oh, exterior shot. Oh, then a captain's log. So that's, let's see, that's coming up right now. Data's looking over at Troi. Captain's log supplemental. Commander LaForge and Data found there's a bunch of malfunctions on the ship. And then they walk into the conference room. They say, hey, yeah, Geordi's like, yeah, it was like the interface malfunction. Some of the Data's programming got onto C-47, library, replicator, recreation, nothing critical. Guard's like, okay, that's why it was like Sylvanic Dances was what was playing. And Data goes, I'm into Dvorak, like Scooter is. Doctor's Crusher's play. Cat food and the replicators, that's like nutrition supplements for Spada. That's what everybody has to eat. And they say, okay, when can you fix it? And Data's like, they're trying to figure out. He goes, I reckon it'll take 2 hours. And they go, what? And they say, did you say, let's see, Data hair looks extra high. I also put, how would they know it was cat food? That was a question I had. Yeah, 31 minutes is when he says, I reckon. And then they do the WTF. And they go, did you say I reckon? Oh, go fix Data, please. I think that's what he says to Geordi. Yeah, Riker goes, did you say I reckon? Data goes, no, I didn't use those words. And everyone goes, yeah, you did. Y'alls must be mistaken. And then Geordi goes, Data, there you go. You did it again. He goes, did what? And then you have Picard goes, take him down to engineering and see if he needs a nap really quick. And then we see they walk off and Data just spits into a potted plant and like walks with like a bow legs or whatever you call it, like a cowboy. And get a great look exchange between Riker and Picard. Then we see Troy's looking out a window. We hear the sound of cards. We see Data shuffling the cards at like, a 10 times speed. Troy's shocked by this because she's starting to make connections, She's like, this is not good if you can do it that fast. He goes, what are you looking at or something? That's what Data says to Troi. And Worf returns. She goes, Worf, Data, they have Data's skills. Knock, knock. The villain fancy present promotion. Worf's trying to get out of the case, but here's Troi. She says, he has Data's speed. You can't go against these dudes. If he has Data's abilities, what are we going to do? His father probably does too. Oh, then there's a knock at the door. They get ready. They go to the door. It's Hollander. The villain fancy premonition or 3340. But this is cool. At 3340 is when Data sits down with Data. So Frank Hollander sits down with Eli Hollander. His son's cowering and lying, because he's like, did you touch any 2 hairs on my son's heads? And I don't know. It's interesting how they must have shot it. But yeah, Eli's cowering. How they treating you real bad, Pa. Worf's not nice to me. Something fierce. He goes, don't worry, boy. Sheriff's gonna, have to, he goes, who's the stranger? He goes, I don't know, Pa. She ain't said her name. Yeah, she did. Durango. She's in cahoots with sheriff. And then he says, sit tight, boy. I'll have you home in time for supper. And he goes over, he kind of glares at Worf. He says, you got one chance. He goes, release my son and, I'll trade you your kid. And Worf goes, I've reconsidered your offer. He goes, let's do it. And he goes, I knew you'd have a change of heart. 2 hours in front of the saloon. I'll be in front of the stable. No strangers, though. Strangers ain't invited. And the kid nods. He nods at his kid. His kid nods back at him. And then they leave. And then Troi consults her, movie knowledge from all the spaghetti westerns she saw. She goes, in 2 hours, they're going to double cross you is what's going to happen. We need a plan. And every western I've read, so not movies, villains always break their words, can't be trusted. Or because it's an honorable agreement. And she goes, this is the ancient West. There's no honorable agreements out here. And that will, it has the speed and accuracy of an android. And then we go to an ad. We come back from the ad. Geordi's working on Data. Riker comes up. Data's still talking in country speak, 18th, 19th century West. Goes, you got it, partner. And they're like, what the heck is going on? We're going to have to purge Data's, all the memories of everything and do a restore. And they go, what about the recreational databases? They go, yeah, it'll be fine. 2 hours tops. Then Riker goes to walk up. He goes, Commander, you just sit tight. We're going to have this all fixed up in time for supper. But Data does not break character, so it's really good. Then we have Worf and Troi planning. Troi has her hands on her hips. They're trying to figure out, okay, what is our move going to be to get Alexander back? Then there's a knock at the door, and it's Miss Annie. She's taken the telegraph machine or bought it or something. I don't know. What I had to go through to get the old man's telegraph machine, which must be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would assume. And they also have their communicators out. And Worf's like, this is excellent. And she goes, why do I keep risking myself for you, Sheriff? Annie says this. And Troi goes, Worf, this is part of the story. He goes, oh, yes, Miss Annie. He says, I'm in your debt. And then the clock strikes 4. And also it moves again. It looked like it's painted on or something. And then it moves, and then we know time has passed, and Worf's got some device on his belt with a communicator and a telegraph. He's like, that'll give me 15 seconds, but it's unstable. Let's hope it's enough. Then we see the western town again, a bird's cawing. They come out of the sheriff's station with Eli and Worf, and they walk out on the street. Actually, Data trips. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. I don't think so. You hear great sound design again. People are closing up their shops and worrying. There's even what do you call that? A tumbleweed, but it's not. It's not moving. I don't know if they did this on the Universal backlot or where. This is a Paramount show. But then the camera goes a long pull out, a boom shot of the whole street and the Worf and Data at one end. And at the other end of the street appears Frank Hollander and Alexander. And so we see a long street between them. We get a couple of shots of the face off. Frank lights a cigar or cigarillo or something. Worf glares. Frank throws away his match. Says, start walking, Alexander. Or says, start walking, Eli. Data. Data's got tense. And we see one of his sidekicks, two of his sidekicks, but now they're both Data as well. and they're getting ready to, not play by the rules. Then Data, Eli passes Alexander, and he grins and laughs. And then we see everybody getting ready to cheat on Worf. And Frank says, Eli, get down. Worf says, Alexander, get down. Then he makes an instant shield somehow with the telegraph and his communicator. And he counts until everybody's out. Then Troi protects him, because she was hiding. And then one of the guys says, Senior Frank, and he throws Frank another, water squirter. And he goes in the air. Data Frank catches it, but Worf uses a move and puts it right out of his hand. And it flies through the air, and everyone's stunned that Worf has bested the android. He raises his hands to his side. He says, go ahead, make my day. He doesn't say that because they think that was trademarked. Alexander looks on from the ground, impressed, waiting to see what kind of justice is. And his dad says, don't show your face in this town again. Your face, even though there's 4 of them, they all have the Data's face. And then they all walk off together out of town. More sound effects. Troi runs to Worf, then they run to Alexander. They go into the saloon, and he's like, Father, and they hug. He goes, you okay? He goes, oh, yeah. And then they're like, well, how come the programming hasn't come back? End program. He goes, I don't understand why it's not going back to normal. Story's over. What's left? And then we get one more good piece. Is this it? We have 4154. Data dressed as Miss Annie comes down the stairs, so holding his dress. He goes, you're as handy with an iron as you are with a woman's heart. And Worf's like, computer and program, please. And she rushes down the stairs to give him a big hug and a kiss. You could tell they're having fun with this. He goes, computer now. And then she puts her head on his shoulder. Worf, rolls his eyes and, holds his nose. And then the holograph vanishes, and they're back in, the room. Then we have Captain's log. We see 2 ships, the exterior. Everything's back to normal. Biko, supply ship, is here. Alexander, we see him in bed in his PJs. Worf comes in to check on him. He looks lovingly down at his son. They're kind of indifferent. And then he says, Father. Alexander's real cute. Father, after what happened, do you ever not want to go back and play that game again at the Ancient West? And Worf considers it, and he says, the town of Deadwood may need us again. And when they do, they'll need a sheriff and a deputy. Great. And Alexander smiles. He says, my papa does love me, loves spending time with me. And Worf walks into his room with all his trophies and weird chairs. And he looks down his hat's on the chair. He puts it on his head. First, he picks it up and studies it. And then he walks up to the mirror, puts it on. And he adjusts his shirt, runs his hand across the brim, and mugs for it, and practices his draw. And then the camera zooms in, and he's really passionate, and he smiles, this huge smile. Really a highlight. Really, that was around 44 minutes when he smiles. And then we see the Enterprise head out, and that's the end of another adventure, a fistful of datas. I hope you dream of multiple datas rocking you to sleep. All right, this is Scoots with a tuck you in message for very specific listeners. So if you're listening to me and hearing me right now, I guess I'm here to keep you company, right, as you're trying to fall asleep still. So, yeah, this podcast does work imperfectly. But I'm still here. We're here together. So I just got it clear. Are you a super listener or are you a new listener? Are you an occasional listener Or are you just in the middle of going through something? You've been listening for a couple weeks or a couple months? Or have you been listening for longer than 6 months, longer than a year, longer than 3 years? Do you listen to 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes a week? Or do you listen to 4 or 5 episodes a week? Do you listen all night long? Or do you fall asleep fast? If you're one of those last 2 groups, I definitely need you to listen and hear what I'm saying. But any of those super listener groups, right? This is a message specifically for you. The one person, and really, if you're listening and hearing me right now, you probably are the only person hearing me. And if you already said yes, you're 1 out of 20,000 people that get the most out of the podcast, that the podcast on some level is valuable to you. If you're part of one of those groups or multiple parts of those groups, if there's anything valuable about the podcast to you, does it have tangible value? I know it makes your life better. I know that supporting the show will feel really good, but I'm also super confident the Sleep With Me Plus is something we designed with super listeners in mind. And I'm pretty sure you'll miss the show if we have to make drastic changes or it stops existing. Think about that. Like, does that to change the value of the podcast? I've asked before, like, if Sleep With Me went away, how much would you pay for it to get it back? Because once we stop it, it's, or cut back anymore, it's going to be tough to, it's just like machinery. The show works like a machine. And if we shut down a part of it and it stops, you understand. Actually, and it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't even matter if you it just matters if you think the show is valuable and that value has a tangible meaning to you, like you're willing to support the show back. That's always what this membership and supporting the show has been about. But over the past couple of years, I've gotten more and more clarity on how people listen and the degree it's valuable. And so the question is the degree it's valuable to you more than whatever's standing in your way? Particularly if it's just stuff that stands in my way. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Somebody else will do it. My support won't make a difference. I'll do it one day. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Someone else will do it for me. That's just too much work. And believe me, I've been in that spot where when we say it out loud, it sounds silly. But I'm not trying to be demeaning. Like, I've been in that thing where it's like, that's just too much work to sign up and take 2 minutes to support your podcast. Even as a podcaster, there's been times, well, I'll do it later. I'll support that show later. Sounds like, I got to go on the website, then I got to look it up, then I got to find my card. So is the value of the podcast more than that or not? Because if it's not, then it's like, okay, I guess that's all I need to know now moving forward. I know I've heard from the people who can't afford to support the show, and I've heard from the people that loathe me asking directly for support. So those groups are well represented. And the people willing to take action right away are well represented. But how big is this group? Like, and what am I up against? Or is that group that's like, and how strong is that resistance? That's what it's gonna come down to, right? Is it that valuable to you? If it's that valuable to you, go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now and sign up. Push that water up the hill or whatever. Say, hey, you know what? That's not true. The show does matter more to me than 2 minutes. I will go upstairs and find my credit card. This podcast has changed my life. I am a super listener. I do listen all night long, or I have listened for 3 years, or I have listened for 6 months. I do listen 5 nights a week. I do fall asleep fast. I do listen to every episode. I do have playlists. I do have favorites and things I don't like about the show. I have preferences. I have opinions about the show. I listen to older episodes. Yeah. If any of those are yeses for you, maybe say yes to whatever's holding you back and say, hey, yeah, this is important to me. What you're saying, it's more of like a mist that stands in the way, not just of me supporting the podcast that's made my life better, but of other things that's made my life better, because that's what I've found personally. Because believe me, all those voices, they'd rather me not be asking directly. They'd rather I never had to ask for support ever in the history of the show. But that would have meant when I first had brought in money to hire Posty to work on the show, that's what the choice was. Well, I can't keep doing this without some help. And how much does it cost for somebody to edit one episode? Okay, then how much would it be for you to edit 2 episodes? Okay. How much would it be for you to edit 8 episodes a month? Okay, now we have the money to pay you to edit that many episodes a month. Can you do 12 episodes a month? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, what's the next bill we could start paying? That's how the show developed and kept going. And I plan on keeping it going or keeping at this until I find out, nope, that's okay. It's just not enough. It's not valuable enough to most listeners. That's okay. It's just not valuable enough to most super listeners. If we find that out, then I'll make the hard choices. But I believe it is. And I do think, I do at least suspect from my own personal journey that, yeah, there's a group of listeners that'll never support the show, that are diametrically opposed to it. And there's people who can't support the show, but then most people are in the middle somewhere. And it's just this other stuff, these other obstacles that are real and powerful, but they're not monumental that we got to push through. So if that's you, if you're still saying yes, can you support the show right now before those thoughts start coming back? Like right now, while there's a gap, while you're listening to me, can you pick up your phone? Or can you go upstairs? Can you go downstairs? Can you go in the other room? Can you go to your desk right now and sign up to support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus? Or you could sign up like right on your phone. And by the way, just set up the bonus content tomorrow, you know. You'll hear from me. You'll hear from Sleep With Me Plus and Supercast that runs it for us. But if the door is open now, don't wait because the door is going to close. We both know that because we both have experience in it. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now. Thank you so much.